An addict's heart. An addict's heart is something beating from the start. It's an addiction beating heart. Addiction beating hearts are hearts that can beat better than you might think when they're beating from the start. Addicts know what they can be, but they aren't something that you might see. An addict like me is not an addict like you, and you're not an addict until you know what an addict has gone through. Addicts can be powerful and they can be weak. They can be the meekest people and the monsters that you don't see. They can be the ones that come running to save your ass when you don't know how to save your own ass in the streets. They're the ones who can do the most amazing shit that you ain't never seen because they just don't quit. Addicts are the baddest motherfuckers that I've met sometimes, and I've met some mad motherfuckers in my lifetime. See, they're not really all about losing. They're all about not winning too. But they're about fighting, that's for sure. But they don't know they're fighting. That's because they don't know the fighting they're doing is fighting for their lives like they do. And I do respect them, but I think they're also dumb shits. They're addicts like me. They're shit fucked dummies. And I don't like that shit because it can be something that other people say to them and they disagree. See, addicts don't like being called or disrespected names that they don't like because they're somebody anyways, and they're somebody who can say things back, but sometimes it's the anger inside of them that gets the best of them, and that is a fact. Addicts don't have a lot to live for. Is you don't know it's not true because they got families and children just like you, and they got things that they might disagree that you know better than them, and you be right than them. Yes, they're but addicts sometimes have a misconception of the truth. The truth about themselves is what they don't lose. They know that inside there's a good person. That's not true. They forget about that and then they lose more about them than you do. So you're a person that doesn't know about addiction, and that's who I'm talking to. You're a person that might be judgmental about an addict like me, maybe not me. Because you might look at me and say, you're not an addict, and you're just an angry dude talking about addicts who you say are your chum bum bums. No, I'm an addict who hasn't been an addict for a little bit, but I'm an addict who still can be an addict of that kind of sort. Yes, I can be on the street, I can lose all my shit, but I've been the guy who hasn't done that shit, and I'm better than that shit. Not because I'm better than them, I just know how to do it better, so I'm not the addict who's lost everything. See, and there's plenty of them like me, but they don't tell you because they hide it better than me. Because I'm the one who's fighting for my life, but I'm also fighting for the other addicts too that I like, and the addicts that I love are the ones that are the closest to me, the ones that give me shit that I disagree is the way that you should treat somebody, but I don't say because I'm a little bit nicer than maybe I might portray. But if you think I'm an addict of the sort that's like you, well, you ain't gonna agree, and I won't agree with you. See, all addicts on the street, I'm not one of them. I'm not part of that squad. I'm not them. But I can hang around them and stand in the group, and they won't know shit or disrespect me, is what I think is the truth because I can talk their talk and I can talk it and walk it and I can be the ad person that said you fuck off because I don't like your shit and not give a shit about their attitude because sometimes you got to treat them like that because they treat that you that way too. And I don't like treating people in that way at all, but I have more respect for them than I might say. Especially if they treat me with respect, it's something I'll treat them with respect too. I don't lead with trying to size somebody up, but they might try and figure me out as some chump that they can go ahead and take a squeeze and take a little bit of dinero that I still got at my seam. And they wouldn't be lying because, yes, I do. And I've been lucky in that way. And some might choose to say that's all I am to them. And I'd be like, fuck you. I'm not an addict like you. That's not true. But I might go ahead and maybe squirrel you a little bit. Tool you fool, because I can do that shit. But I'll do it a lot smoother than you. You won't know it hits you. Shit. You won't know a damn thing if I screwed you over and you wouldn't know it. But I'm not the screwing over type, you see. And I wouldn't know if I screwed you over anyways, probably. And if I did, well, it's cry me a river. I don't give a shit. Because when you're an addict like me who doesn't quit and doing their shit, sometimes they just forget that people like them are people too. And I don't forget that I'm a person in the end, but when I'm in the middle of my gobbledygook, then I'm an addict like them. The only difference is I'm in a house, and I got a place, and I'm alone, and that's a mistake that I don't make. I go ahead and do it, but I could die, same as them, except I'd die alone, and nobody would find me till I was rotten out my eyes. I'd smell in my house, dead as a doornail too. That's how addicts die, and that's the way I could die too. They'd be found. They'd say be sent somewhere too. They might not be sent to their families. There would be a toad tag that said, "This is a who knows who." It's a sad way to die, and I don't want them to die that way. And I don't want my addict friends who die that way too, because I got addict friends that I love, and they're the ones that are the toughest to fucking love. But they're the addicts that I love, yes sirree. They're the ones that sometimes disagree with the choices that I might make, and maybe even disagree with me. And then I'm an addict like them, and I would say, whatever, but I won't talk to them like that. See, I've been around a little bit more than they might think because I did it way before. So some of them might even not say were even little poop sweets. They were little kids, and when I was still doing that shit that they think is so badass on the street, sometimes they might be that way. But I ain't never not known what they know. I've known it before they knew it. They just don't know how much I know. Because I don't talk about this shit, and I ain't no badass too. I ain't no fucking wise guy type of wannabe shit. No, I don't want to be that too. And I don't want to talk about that shit too because I'm scary motherfuckers. So that's all I know too. See, addicts like me, we're a treat, especially if we're nice. We're a chunky, chasey piece of meat. And to the chicky diggies, that was the way it was. That's just a bad fact. And I'm not proud of it. But love does exist. In the addict world, it does exist. It doesn't persevere. It doesn't always reign. It doesn't always take over. It doesn't cause no one to say, I blame. The other one for my disastrous life, it can be the absolute opposite, and they won't take blame, and they'll have that life of absolute nothing because they won't let go of the other addict who they say can't let know that I don't love them and love them less, but I don't know if I love them at all. Maybe I love them as a test. Maybe I don't love them. Maybe they don't love me. Maybe I just not have obligated because they're just weak, not like me. That can exist. But what's more true is if your emotions are subdued. When you're an addict on the street or in the house or in a palace, who gives a fuck? Your emotions are subdued. Your reality is not yours, same as everybody else. It's different because you have an addiction that rules you. You're a slave, and depending on the degree of your physical addiction, it can be psychological, it can be extreme. And that's the thing that people like you who don't know what an addict is has to understand too. We ain't little shits. We're monsters in disguise. It's not always true. But we can do a lot more than you give credit to the addict that you might choose to say, this motherfucker's a pain in my ass. Get off my street. Get your fucking ass off to fucking some homeless shelter, dude. Yeah, well, you try to live on the street dealing with dudes like or women like you. And you're right to say that to them, though, too. I'm not going to deny that. See? If you let them have a pass all the time, they're going to think all that shit's all right. And you deserve your streets to be clean, but you deserve your streets to be crime-free. And an addict will attract crime depending on the degree of their addiction and how much they don't care about you or me. It's something that they do. They don't do it deliberately, but some just don't give a shit because they don't live on your street. But some do care and some do respect. If you treat them right and invite them in next, they're going to be the ones who protect your home to some degree because they value people that take care of them and are real in that way. And I luckily, maybe, I hope, I've been real to them, to the ones that I let in my home. But I don't want to talk about that. See, I'm pretty much done. I've been ranting and raving about addicts that were fun. No, not fun. I'm talking about people like you who might be looking at me and saying, what the hell is he talking to me? I'm not an addict. No, you're not. This is for you. You don't have to respect people that are less than you because that's what you look at when you look at an addict that's not like me. But you look at other addicts maybe, even if I tell you I'm an addict when I know you, and maybe you don't know me until I tell you I'm an addict, and you judge me poorly like you should not do. I'm not an uneducated man. I'm really well educated, as a matter of fact. I don't have a college degree, but I've been to college more years than most college graduates have been. And I completed most, what you might say, the class courses that required degrees are. But see, that's a little peculiarity of my personality. I just didn't give a shit about college in the end, and I just left it and said I didn't care about it. College is something that is valuable, though, and I don't want to disrespect college because I do know that college can be something that is a stepping stone up real high to some people that get out of college and they make a lot of dough, and that is something that's nice. People without money, well, I don't know. I'm talking about money. Maybe I don't know. But I'm talking about something I'm going to about wrap up right now because I'm about had it with any of this not as much fun. See, I do respect addicts, and I respect people too. I respect your rights of privacy, and I respect how you might choose, and I respect that you might disagree with an addict and say that addict doesn't need to talk to me that way. And I would say to you, sir, if this is what you don't like, or madam, then you can go ahead and not have a nice night. I want you to think about it maybe, and maybe disagree, and maybe rant or rave. I don't really care because this is an opinion that exists among addict friends like me. See, I respect them and I care about them, and I don't like when people denigrate them, and I don't like when people disrespect them, even though they may deserve it. But when they absolutely think they're a dismissal of a life, that's the bottom line for me. That's not right. And I've done it, and I'm not proud of it. But they're my friends, some of them, others are not. But an addict is worth his life. And that's what I say tonight. They're worth life.